In today's clip, I'm going to address the really common question amongst those of us interested in FIRE, which is, what platform should one use to trade stocks and bonds with? Heyo, XenPuck here, another day laying down the law about what I know about, which is, of course, personal finance. It's kind of fun to realize that I'm super passionate and can rant about personal finance topics. Why should you listen to me? Well, I can only say that I'm just a regular guy who's never hit any startup gold or had some amazing side hustle ideas and still managed to retire in my 30s. Okay, so if you're here for one reason or another, please feel free to comment, like, subscribe, and share, because today's topic might get me some hate regardless of, what the topic is. Question of the day, or week, or month is, as I see this come up quite often, especially in the FIRE community group that I'm in, what's the best platform if somebody wants to trade stocks? This is usually in the context of someone's beginning journey into FIRE, right? And frankly, I think this is a silly question, but I'm getting ahead of myself. So first, let's break down who people think are the choices. Two main camp, new and app-based, or old, and names you've seen for decades, right? New, Robinhood, M1 Finance, Webull. Old, Vanguard, Fidelity, Schwab, E-Trade, TD Ameritrade, Merrill Edge. So which is the best? Let's break it down in a few different ways to look at this question, okay? Well, the first one, real easy to think of, which is functionality. In terms of functionality, I'd say all these choices are fairly similar, actually. I mean, of course, there's differences in, say, the GUI, right? Graphical user interface. Research tools available, and sometimes fees associated, right? In terms of not just trading fees, but like fees to transfer in and out of different brokerages. There's some other, mild differences that are also starting to melt away, such as availability of fractional shares or actual trading fees, right? Obviously, if you guys have been following the news in the last year or two, trading fees for stocks has sunk to almost zero across the board. And even the availability of fractional shares are becoming more and more possible, with the new school trades or the old school ways of brokeraging, right? Yet, to be serious, if you can't afford a single share, then maybe it's just better to pick a different stock, okay? The amount of stocks that are actually priced individually out of reach for most consumers is incredibly minor, right? I'm looking at you, Berkshire Hathaway Class A shares at 360 Gs per share. Okay? So I would say, in essence, in terms of functionality, it's a wash. But here's how I look at this whole question in terms of the way to look at it in the second way, right? Which is, why do you have to pick one, right? I get beginners will ask this, but I'm an expert, all right? I've already hit my FIRE goal. And if you ask me, hey, how do you trade stocks? Which platforms did you pick? My answer is, I didn't, okay? I use one, E-Trade, because my old company's RSUs, or restricted stock units, were given there. I use two, Charles Schwab, because I like maximizing my Amex Platinum benefits, and they have a great checking account with a great debit card. I use number three, Merrill Edge, because I wanted to further my Bank of America relationship. BOA owns Merrill Edge, by the way, after the, last recession. And number four, I use Vanguard too, just because I like their business model, okay? And I needed a place to stick Vanguard funds to use as my personal barometer. So that's what I already use. And finally, I also talked about using Robinhood, or one of these app-based, one of the newer tools, with my wife for whenever she decides to retire from the corporate gig, just so that she and I could both start off with like an equal amount of a starting portfolio and just play with the stocks, like fun money, right? We were thinking like 10K each, right? So, yeah, why do you have to pick one again? I guess, if you're at the very beginning stages, you do need to pick one to start, but at the end of the day, if you're anywhere where your portfolio is a larger number that would actually get you to financial independence, I don't think you really need to pick a single brokerage or app at all, right? And thirdly, okay, this is the part where gets my heart pumping about this question, which is, why is this question being asked at all, right? The essence of my problem with the what's the best platform question, why do people even invest, okay? Because most people weren't talking about, for the sake of financial independence, retire early. We're talking about investments as in to grow money that you won't need for 5 years or more, okay? Ideally, as I've said before, it really should be buy and hold forever. So 5 years to forever. So in the context of decades up to forever, who cares what the best platform for trading is right this second, okay? Which platform has the best functionality right now? Because you know what? The platform with the most comprehensive tools right now will not be the one with the most comprehensive tools in another year, or another 5, or another 10, or another 50, okay? So to me, this question is just a wee bit myopic, and frankly only relevant if you're looking to day trade right now, right? Because I think it's understandable for people to ask this, because most people seem to equate stock market with trading, because that's what you hear on the news, right? Those are professional stock traders. That's different from an individual like you and I, right, who are trying to be financially independent. You're not getting there through the sheer force of stock trading, okay? Because stock trading as a job, that's not the same thing as long-term investment at all, that we who are interested in the FIRE movement should be interested in, okay? At the end of the day, I want to add another analogy to this whole shebang, all right? Which is that, you know, to prove a point that tools do not make anyone better at a task, especially when you're just starting out, okay? I mean, again, I'm not saying that having the best tools do not matter, okay? They matter for somebody who's actually at least reached an adequate level of competency, right? I like to compare this with cooking. Think about how you cook. Will having the best knives in the world make you a great cook? I think the answer is clearly absolutely not, if you don't already know what you're doing to begin with, okay? But it will make an adequate cook into a better one, right? It's the same idea with stock trading, right? If you're a beginner, good God, do not concentrate on which vendor or platform is better. The platform will not make you make more or less money via the stock market, okay? Either you want to be a day trader and statistically just lose all your money, okay? If you're a day trader, you're going to lose money. Don't believe any of these crap gurus you see on YouTube. Day trader equals 99% of the chance you're going to lose money, right? Or you want to be an actual real investor and do it for the long term, in which case any of the vendors that I mentioned will do just fine, so long as you don't think that they're going to, you know, go out of business. Hey, wait, I guess I do have an answer to this question after all, now that I just said that, hey, the criteria should be whether you trust the vendor to still be in business, right? Because honestly, it is the older vendors like Fidelity or Vanguard or Schwab that's been around for more than a decade. I mean, since financial independence, retire early is all about investing for a lifetime goal, which one do you want to trust more? Some upstart that has no real discernible advantage after a year or two? And that's what happened with Robinhood, right? They started with no trading fees. Now, no one has trading fees. So what is Robinhood's advantage? Okay, except that they're new and lacks any sort of history, right? Like they've been around for like 5 years. What? I know it's less than 10, right? So do you trust an upstart that has no real history of proving itself to not screw the consumer? Which it just did, by the way, with the GameStop stocks, right? So you know they're not actually like Robinhood, robbing from the rich, giving to the poor. Instead, even the new upstart is robbing from the poor and giving to the rich. Okay? So do you trust a company like that, an upstart like that with no history? Or a company that's actually been around for, I mean, a lifetime, right? Vanguard, Schwab, they've been around for longer than most of my, parents. I don't know. Who do you trust more? You tell me. I give you my answer. I'd go with one of the old guards. Cheers.